significant flaws and replete the administrative organizational loopholes. The deficiencies facilitate paper leakages and enabled malpractices, including substitution of dummy candidates, copying, and utilization of electronic and Bluetooth devices during the examination. In regard to the examination conduct, several deviations from protocols and security lapses compromise the examination integrity. Specifically, exams were held in additional districts, use of private schools, mandated security procedures, non-dramatized duty allocations, marks normalization issues, etc. The current RPSC chairman, Mr. Utkal Ranjan Sahu, via an additional affidavit dated 14/8/25, has admitted and disclosed that a candidate photographed the OMR sheet during examination and circulated on social media, causing it to become viral. The incident reveals two grave shortcomings. Firstly, the presence of handheld devices and internet connectivity during the examination, despite norms mandating the use of jammers. Secondly, the dissemination of OMR sheets on social media, thereby impeding the investigation authorities from ascertaining the extent of beneficiaries of this breach across examination centers in the state. In addition to the internal systematic irregularities and shortcomings emanating from RPSC and its members itself, as noted above, several external forces also operated to vitiate the impugned recruitment process of 2021. The cancellation of the recruitment process was necessitated by the following additional reasons. The SIT in its report 13/8/24 highlighted that for the examination conducted on 13/9/2021, the investigation revealed a sophisticated paper leak operation orchestrated by the Kalir gang in collusion with other including Raju Matrix, Dinesh Singh Chauhan, director owner of secondary school Bikaner. Utilizing Bluetooth devices, the gang facilitated cheating by transmitting leaked question papers and answers to candidates during RPSC 21 examination on the dates. The leak occurred by Ramsai Adarsh School Bikaner and was also disseminated at Pali. Dinesh Singh Chauhan leaked papers for rupees 15 lakhs. Charge sheets were filed against accused persons Tulcharan Kalir, Paurav Kalir, Raju Matrix, Dinesh Chauhan under various sections of IPC, IT Act and Prevention of Unfair Means Act. The SIT report noted the possibility of large-scale circulation of leaked papers across the state. Accurate investigation with regard to which would be extremely difficult was noted. That thorough and commendable investigation conducted by SIT also highlighted malpractices wherein the Jagdish Bishnoi gang leaked exam papers for both shifts on 14/9/21 at Ravindra Bal Bharati, Hasanpura, Jaipur. Jagdish Bishnoi, habitual offender with 13 criminal antecedents related to paper leaks, led the gang. The modus operandi include collusion with Rajesh Khandelwal, Pankaj Chaudhary, invigilator, central superintendent, and others to leak paper via WhatsApp. Salt papers were distributed to candidates through site handlers across Rajasthan. The gang used encrypted communication, destroyed evidence post-exam, and operated across Rajasthan. Notorious members including Harshvardhan Meena, Anil Kumar Meena, involved in other paper leaks and others. Papers were sold to candidates for cheating. Several arrested, while the beneficiaries of the said leak were manifold. Jagdish Bishnoi gang leaked papers for both shifts on 15/9/21 at Jaipur using a modus similar to 14/9/21. Kalir gang also leaked the papers on 15/9/2021 at Bikaner, but obtained the salt papers from Paveen Bishnoi, Jagdish Bishnoi gang for rupees 10 lakhs. Notably, Bishnoi and gangs have no established connections, highlighting the coming together of disparate group to collaborate for paper leaks. The SIT emphasized the difficulty in tracing or limiting dissemination of leaked papers due to gangs' modus operandi. Sub-inspectors were also selected through a scheme involving dummy candidates on 13/15. Dummy candidates paid large sums up to rupees 8 lakhs. Appeared in exams for actual candidates using innovative methods like fake wigs with electronic devices and earpieces with Bluetooth technology. Kingpins like Bhamarlal Bishnoi arranged dummy candidates for actual candidates across Rajasthan. The special SIT noted cheating via Bluetooth required access to salt leaker papers. In connection with sub-inspector reports, more than 10 FIRs were lodged by authorities concerning serious allegations of paper leaks, utilization of dummy candidates, and employment of unfair means during conduct of examination. In addition to these numerous FIRs, 3 more specifically filed before the SOG a unit tasked with investigating and addressing significant and complex cases. These FIRs highlight the extent of irregularities, malpractices that were investigated in relation to examination. Pursuant to the investigation conducted by SIT, as reflected in the report dated 13/8/2024, the charge sheet submitted authorities effected approximately 100 arrests. The investigation revealed involvement of numerous tainted successful candidates, dummy candidates, subject experts, site handlers, kingpins, and officials, with many remaining at large or absconding. For the 859 advertised posts, roughly every one in 8 selected candidates utilized unfair means. The number of beneficiaries is likely to increase, as the SIT noted that exact number could not be ascertained until absconding individuals are apprehended and interrogated. Due to time elapsed and poor RPSC infrastructure, thorough investigation after 4 years is proving difficult, making it extremely challenging to capture all irregularities, which shows how deep-rooted they are, making it improbable for all to be uncovered, even if further investigation is carried out. Even the prospect of 1 in every 8 candidates being tainted in the recruitment of sub-inspectors in the police force is alarming. Given the critical role of sub-inspectors in controlling crime, maintaining law and order, and serving as pivotal figures in society as station officer, it would be inappropriate and unfair to permit sub-inspectors recruited through unfair means to remain in service. Sub-inspectors who may be promoted up to additional superintendent of police must be selected through a transparent and sanctified process. Candidates selected through wrongful means are unlikely to discharge duties properly, with requisite dedication, softness, generosity, and sensitivity towards the public, thereby undermining the justice system and impairing police functioning. The prospect of Rajasthan Police Department retaining tainted candidates in service, should the sub-inspector not be cancelled in the light of SIT recommendations and the ongoing investigation status, would be detrimental and harmful to the society at large. Allowing individuals selected through unfair means to serve in critical police positions has profound and far-reaching implications. To uphold the Rajasthan Police motto of trust in the public and fear in the criminals, cancelling the 2021 is imperative. This is necessitated by the fact that tainted examination, plagued by malpractices yet to be fully uncovered, would erode public confidence in the police. Such an outcome would alarm both the public and state machinery, indicating a breakdown in trust crucial for effective policing and law and order maintenance. A corruption-free administration requires individuals with transparent and impeccable images in critical roles. Candidates selected through corrupt means, leveraging unfair advantages and malpractices, cannot reasonably be expected to embody integrity, honesty, and transparency. Cancelling this recruitment will ensure a corruption-free process and convey authorities' commitment to upholding integrity in the public service. Given the passage of 4 years since the examination and the complexities of the investigation coupled with systemic failures, all discussed above, differentiating between fairly selected candidates and those benefiting from malpractices is extremely challenging, if not practically impossible. At the risk of repetition, but in conclusion, it is noted that latest position of law on the subject is Baisakhi Bhattacharya, wherein it was held that when a meticulous factual inquiry unveils systematic infirmities such as malice or fraud that pervasively undermine the integrity of the selection process, the inevitable consequence must be the cancellation of selection in its entirety. The decision to cancel the selection process in mass must be predicated upon sufficient material garnered through investigation, wherein the standard of proof is not necessarily one of assailability certainty, but rather one grounded in preponderance of probability. Although the resultant inconvenience to unblemished candidate is undoubtedly lamentable, it cannot be permitted to eclipse the profound manipulation that has sullied the selection process, thereby vitiating its sanctity. It is paramount importance to emphasize that due to widespread irregularities and malpractices, both internal and external, attempting to separate tainted from untainted candidates in sub-inspector exam would be a futile endeavor filled with unsurmountable challenges. Such an attempt would compromise the systematic integrity of examination, especially when investigation indicates that no conclusive static regarding the precise number of tainted can be determined due to systematic lapses and deficiency after 4 years. That even the learned Advocate General, upon being solicited for an opinion regarding the proposal by the ADG of the ATS and Chairman of SIT, which was accepted by Director General of Police, Rajasthan, expressed his opinion via letter dated 14/9/2024. In this opinion, learned Advocate General also noted that given the extensive malpractices in the SI 2021, it is not feasible to segregate candidates selected through tainted means for those selected without taint. The Advocate General accepted the SIT's proposal in its report dated 13/8/24 regarding the future course of action concerning the examination, which was categorically noted to be cancellation and not segregation of tainted and untainted candidates. Similarly, the DG Police, by letter dated 22/8/24, concurred with the recommendation of ADG as well as SIT pertaining to cancellation of Sub-Inspector Recruitment 2021. Even the Cabinet Ministers Committee 1/10/24 recommended to cancel SI examination. The committee agreed with the Director General's opinion that the recruitment process was tainted from the start with unfair means. Such candidates may not uphold the Rajasthan Police Oath for corruption-free administration. The committee's decision to cancel was based on recommendations from ADG. The Cabinet Committee revised recommendation dated 28/6/2025 stipulate that SIT continue investigating malpractices in 2021 and that the candidates selected through fraud should be apprehended, face action, have services terminated if involved in malpractice, and be debarred from future government exams. Clause 3 of the said recommendation notes that it's premature to decide on cancelling the examination at this stage, while Clause 4 suggests advertising sufficient posts in the next recruitment exam with age relaxation for affected candidates. The court's present judicious decision to cancel 2021 harmonizes with tenor of Clause 3 of the recommendation dated 28/6/2025, emanating from the state government, which contemplates the possibility of cancelling the impugned recruitment process after further investigation. At a subsequent stage, in light of the manifest and patent systematic infirmities, malpractices that plague the conduct of said examination, coupled with affliction of considerable period of 4 years, the examination date, and taking into account SIT report, which underscores the challenges in the investigation matter, further and diminished prospects of accurately ascertaining the number of candidates who resorted to diverse unfair means to secure a position, any further procrastination in counselling them should constitute an exercise in futility. The particular cancellation as stage is opposite when the state government representation themselves envisage the possibility of cancellation, albeit tempered by qualification at this stage in Clause 3. Prolonging the uncertainty in such circumstances would merely serve to exacerbate the anxiety of candidates and those awaiting the outcome of present litigation without any corresponding benefit, as the SIT has explicitly averred that ascertaining the precise number of candidates who employed illegal means to secure SI position would be extremely difficult. The cancellation of examination at this juncture would thus relieve candidates from burden of uncertainty, preserve the sanctity of recruitment process for the post of SI, a position of significant public trust, and uphold sacrosanct principle that fraud vitiates all proceedings. Therefore, this court, exercising its judicious powers under 226, deems it appropriate to interpret Clause 3 of the recommendation to effect the cancellation of Sub-Inspector 2021 at this stage, based on investigation conducted thus far. Cancelling the examination at this present stage is beneficial for several reasons. The present contextual framework harmoniously aligns itself with judicial pronouncement of Baisakhi Bhattacharya and Vanshika Yadav also. The argument advanced by learned counsels for the respondents regarding the consideration of principles of materiality and proportionality to preclude the cancellation of recruitments in its entirety is wholly misconceived. This is because the leakage of question paper and its model answer key in present factors was perpetrated not only by gangs, antisocial elements on large scale, but also by RPSC members. The cost of cancelling is now counterbalanced by imperative of reinstating public confidence in state institutions, which suffers a cascading effect of erosion due to paper leaks. idiom, Ghar ka Bedi Lanka Dhai, aptly encapsulates the egregious circumstances surrounding the SI 2021, wherein the very guardians entrusted with safeguarding the sanctity of process, namely the members of RPSC, were instrumental in its initiation. If it is transversity of monumental proportion that 6 members of RPSC, tasked with the sacrosanct duty of protecting the interest of public and masses, chose to betray that trust. Through their active participation, knowledge of leakage of papers, RPSC members specified so and so the systematic and large-scale compromises of the examination integrity. The attack on the examination sanctity was not solely the handiwork of external antisocial elements, but was significantly birthed and spread by these very members of the RPSC. This betrayal of public trust from within the RPSC has precipitated a crisis of confidence in the recruitment process and the institutions meant to uphold it, underscoring the idiom Ghar ka Bedi Lanka Dhai relevance in highlighting the devastating impact of internal complexity and corruption. Directions. In furtherance of noted conclusions regarding the inherent and absolute need for cancellation of process of RPSC for recruitment of candidates on the post of SI, this court, in agreement and in the same breath as the recommendation deemed necessary to the learned Advocate General in the opinion dated 14/9/2024, deems it fit to direct as under: that the government should prepare a detailed report with supporting material in consonance with the shortcomings noted in the preceding discourse, and on that basis and along with that report and corroborating material, recommend to RTAPSC to cancel the whole recruitment process conducted till date, including the recruitment of Sub-Inspector 2021. That RPSC should also be instructed to reconduct the whole process under the same advertisement dated 3/2/2021 by making alternative arrangement in the novel advertisement so issued under notification 17th July 2025 on the basis of valid applications received in pursuance to that advertisement, deadline of which is September 8, 2025. It would be expected from RPSC that in confirmation with clause 4 of the recommendations dated 28/6/25 to protect the interest of candidates involved in present recruitment process, sufficient number of posts should be advertised in the upcoming new recruitment examination, and relaxation in age eligibility should also be considered positively. That to be fair to the applicants, reasonable time for preparation and appearing examination should be allowed. That the RPSC should be instructed to ensure fairness and transparency in reconducting the process as to avoid any further lapses. That as soon as the RPSC decides and cancels the process as mentioned above, the appointments made on the basis of previous process should be immediately cancelled by the government with all legal consequences as noted above. That in case of termination of the candidate is appointed, if any of them has decided their government services to join the new post, order should be issued for their reinstatement to the original post in the government service in above terms. Suo motu cognizance and a PAI. Having arrived at the aforementioned conclusion and pursuant to having issued directions in connection therewith, this court, while exercising its jurisdiction under 226, cannot remain a passive observer and permit the RPSC to perpetrate a transversity of the system through its repeated and continued breach of public trust. This breach evidently emanates from the active involvement of its members in undermining the integrity of an esteemed public institution, which when functioning at its efficient capacity plays a pivotal role in the governance of the state of Rajasthan. The RPSC, by virtue of its mandate, administers the recruitment process for virtually all significant public posts within the state, thereby occupying a position of considerable importance. Then we have given details of little RPSC. Then we have said that how many examination processes are cancelled. The essence of the foregoing discussions underscores the imperative that RPSC cannot persist in functioning in a manner characterized by negligence and corruption, as is currently evident. Such functioning results in thousands and lakhs of uprising candidates becoming casualties in the selfish interest of few members of the Commission. These members render the examination system inherently flawed and worthy of cancellation from within the institution itself. This situation is further compounded by poor administration of examination, a fault of the RPSC as highlighted by SIT. The RPSC, as per the SIT report, exhibited several shortcutting in the conduct of impugned recruitment process over the above and foundational leakage of papers at the hands of members. The shortcomings are noted as below. In consideration of foregoing discussion, this court, cognizance of the fraud perpetrated by members of RPSC at the grassroots level, the connivance of members in prejudicing the interview process, involvement of approximately 6 members of RPSC in the charge sheet in malpractices with further investigation pending, the participation of the head institution in tempering outcomes, the continued involvement of accused RPSC members in various examinations, the silence of RPSC members enabling vitiation of recruitment process, and RPSC's inability to uphold its aims of fair and equitable recruitment, the continued breach of trust resulting from the inability of RPSC to manage its affairs, and as guided by Vaisakhi Bhattacharya, which relaxes the requirement of proof beyond doubt in civil recruitments in favor of a preponderance of probability, such relying upon special investigation team and charge sheets and FIRs related thereto, deem it appropriate and imperative to take suo motu cognizance of the systematic malpractice with the RPSC in the state of Rajasthan for institution of TIL in confirmation to Rule 385 and 385Q of Rajasthan High Court rules, the Registrar Judicial to direct to place a copy of this order along with concerned material for perusal before the Honorable Chief Justice for further proceedings and consideration. It was conclusion. The order is much detailed.